radiator work, air conditioning service, batteries, belts, hoses, starters, clutches. On talk line. All right, 222-9224. 222-9224. Did you hear the UniFirst Corporation Monday night huddle?
If I don't leave the house, absolutely nothing.
So you're safe at home.
Worried about a thing.
Safe at home. There you go.
Safe. We'd like to think we're safe at home.
Mm-hmm.
Listen. Let me run this by you. Since I theorize sometimes on what's going to happen. If a man sits on the porch all the time and watches everything go by, what does he gain?
Peace of mind.
Nothing.
Peace of mind.
Well, you could say that, but that's not really the case. He gains nothing other than just sitting there. He's content. He don't want to get involved with anything out there. He don't want to see the evil that's in the world. It's out there, and he just don't want to see it. Now, it starts with the school system when kids are growing up. Now, we're looking at a big picture here. Tax-paying families that pay their taxes, and they go to work every day, and they're trying to raise their children the best they can. They're going to teach them all they can at home, but we're required to send them to school. We got politicians on the payroll that we pay their money to that they receive from the government. And we got police officers, and we got firemen, and we got all sorts of people on the payroll. And we got clerks, and we got people, that work for the county. They own the payroll. Well, a lot of them people, they got families too. And they got kids they send them to school. And they want them to be taught how to read, write, and think ahead in life. Now, if you can read and count, you can pretty much do anything. You don't have to have no 4-year college doctorate degree, whatever the case might be, on how to think in life. You don't need all that. All you got to be is willing to go to work and want more for your family. And that should be every person's dream, regardless who they are, what nationality they are, or whatever. Now, you take this school superintendent out in Iowa. I'm not saying he was a bad man, but I will say he was guilty of being a liar. That's what he's guilty of, because he was not an American citizen. He is not an American citizen. He was told to leave, and somehow or another he wiggled his way through the system. Of course, I don't know how, but he wiggled his way through the system. And he lied to all them people out there. He lied to everybody in school of who he was. He was not an honest man. He is not an honest man as far as that goes. Now, me and you can't help what he done. We can't change his way of thinking. But there is something we can do. We can support everybody that already told him he had to leave. Now, I don't wish no bad on him, but he started out wrong. He come in the country on a visa or whatever, and he overstayed, and then they told him he had to leave. And he said, no, I ain't leaving. I'm going to stay right here. Get all the gravy off of this I can. So that's what he's doing. That's just my opinion, of course. Now, if you're illegal and you're in the country, you're illegal. Now, every American citizen, if they decide to go to another country, they got paperwork they have to apply for. If they go there illegal, chances are they're going to spend a long time in jail. Because some other countries don't play like the Americans do. You know, we try to give somebody a chance, try to give them a chance to actually leave. Here's what we'll offer you. Now, if you don't go, don't feel bad when you finally get caught. Don't cry whoop when you finally get caught, because you already know there is a possibility that you're going to get caught, and you're going to have to pay a penalty for what you're doing. Now, he's lied to all them Iowans out there in the district that he's over, and he got caught, and he tried to run, and he hid in the bushes, and they found him. Now, do you actually think they're going to let him get away with this? Now, he hadn't, as far as I know, he hadn't shot anybody, hurt nobody, run over anybody. But he has lied on his application on who he was. So that's just like being a spy or whatever you want to
Well,
call
see,
it.
that's what, I have hired many people and done, background checks on people. Many of the background checks that I did on people, I would have picked up whether they were here illegally or not. They would have been something. How could the state or the county that he was in Iowa not know that he was there illegally? If they did any background check, he's the top educator in that county. I mean, I just don't see how you could do that.
He was in a top educational position in that county. He was a liar. He was not an educator.
Well, but he's an educator and a liar. I mean, there's no doubt about whether he's an educator.
He's a fraud.
Of course he is. He told a lie, but that doesn't change your educational background when you tell a lie.
Right.
The thing is,
Right.
I don't know how they managed to hire him without knowing that. It sort of makes me think think about this. Talk about conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theory. You think maybe they really knew there in Iowa that he was not there legally and hired him anyway?
Well, somebody knew his background and said, "Look, don't worry about it. We'll cover this up." Somebody did.
I wonder. I don't. They say not.
Know who.
They say not, but I wonder. All right, listen.
Well,
I appreciate it.
All right. Look, let me say one more thing.
All right.
And then I wish you a good day.
Yes, sir.
Do you think all these Steve Hegseth is pulling all these military guys in to Guantanamo or wherever they meet at? Do you think he's doing that for a special reason?
I don't know. I didn't, before I started hearing a bunch of people say that they might be, I thought it was just a big meeting. They just don't, this is the kind of thing that Trump likes to do. Things that nobody has ever done before. You're on Talk Line.
Good morning. Hey, how are you?
I am well.
Well, old Michael's at it again. He don't know what he's talking about. He's just lying like he always does. I think he needs to be on CNN or MSNBC.
Well, Fox tell the most lies.
Trump firing the person, the prosecutor, that was going to prosecute Comey. Well, listen to this. The guy didn't get fired. The guy is Comey's son-in-law. And 2 days after that, he found after the indictment, he resigned in the Eastern District of Virginia. That's where Comey's being charged. And the person that got fired was his daughter, who was also in New York's district, but she got fired a while back by Pam Bondi. So where he comes up with this stuff, I mean, that's the honest truth. The guy resigned 2 days after they indicted his father-in-law. And how in the world did all these Comeys get into these positions?
Well, see, look, one of the things that Michael accuses everybody of is he accuses me of only watching Fox News or whatever. when I watch everything, I see these things that are like on MSNBC and CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, where they intimate the kinds of things that you just talked about. Like, yes, there was a firing, but was it? And they speculate. They don't tell you it's a fact. They just speculate that the reason they fired him was because they wouldn't indict Comey, when actually that's not really. The story sort of gets mixed up. So
he didn't get fired.
Yeah, well, right. Well, but what I'm saying is, but the story gets all mixed up, and the people at MSNBC want to do the story in the worst way that it can be done, and that's where a lot of people pick up stuff like that. And it's the very thing that Michael accuses, the people on this program who call this program up only watching Fox News, which is absolutely, I can't speak for everybody else. I know it's not true for me.
I didn't even get this off Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't even hear it on Fox News.
Well, I heard it from Michael.
I started researching.
No, I heard it from Michael. And I did the same thing you did. I went and looked it up and saw that it was just one of Bill Huff's favorite terms was convoluted, and what the story we heard yesterday was very convoluted. That's not exactly what's going on. It's a little bit different than that. Now, let me say this: you hear all the facts, and you can say that that's why that happened. You can say that's what you believe, that it happened because of these things. I don't think it did. Look, the way I look at all this.
I mean, it says that he resigned.
Yeah. But see.
He resigned because
he may not, but look, he may not have been talking about him. He may have been talking about her. Now, I don't know which one he was talking about. He was talking about.
Well, but she didn't have anything to do with the trial.
I know, that was a while back. Well, but they'll tell you, but see, what they'll tell you, and I read several stories about this, they'll tell you that the reason that she got fired was because they didn't want her to be, they were getting ready to indict him and they wanted her out of the way. I mean, that's what they'll tell you. The thing is that I want everybody, people get talking about lawfare. Lawfare is when you trump up charges, no Trump intended there. When you take a misdemeanor that the statute of limitations is over on, and you turn it into a felony so that you can charge the president 34 times with it, that is lawfare. And what this is that these aren't charges that are made up. These are real, honest to goodness charges. Now, will he be convicted? Who knows? Nobody knows that. It depends. They're going to be tried in a very friendly jurisdiction. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but these are not made up charges. These are real charges that have been charged many times before. And there were 3 charges that they took to the grand jury. One of them was not given a bill of indictment on. So there were 3 charges, and there were 2 that one that was turned down. So these are real. This is a real grand jury that got out these charges and all that kind of stuff. And it's not made up stuff. It's real stuff. And that's what I want. I want, if somebody has been charged with something, I want it to be a real honest to goodness charge.
Well, he didn't want it. I mean, you don't want it. You don't want this case to take place in Washington, D.C., where 98% of the people of the jury would be Democrat. You wouldn't want it tried there. You wouldn't want it tried in New York because you'd have the same thing again there. We've seen the dog and pony shows in New York. So he still put it in a blue state. Virginia's a blue state, and he still put it there in the eastern part of Virginia. But that's not a very high red area of Virginia. But he knew that if you put it in New York or if you put it in Washington D.C., there's no way that you could get he could get a fair trial that's supposed to be a fair trial, because he'd already been through those 2 areas and come up with some of the craziest charges you ever see in your life against him, and knew you didn't have a chance. But it just amazes me how he comes up with something that's just a total blank-faced lie. And then he says something about that statistics on white violence as extremists. That group that did that report is a sponsor of Antifa. I mean, they are a sponsor of Antifa. How can you stand out there? I mean, you got to have better sense than to stand up there and make a statement like that. Because you're not looking, you're just listening to CNN or MSNBC or wherever you're listening. You're not looking to verify what they said. And he does this every time he calls in. Like yesterday, he says, well, GOP won't want to bury to a committee. Look, folks, if you want to be on some kind of subcommittee that doesn't have any authority in Alamance County, you just let it known that you'll be willing to volunteer to do it, and they'll put you on there. These little committees all over this county, which I think Michael's on the housing board, which is not they don't make any decisions. They just sit around and talk about things. But they're not, the commissioners make all the decisions. It's like a planning board. You can be on a planning board and you can vote 6-0 to allow somebody to do something or not allow somebody to do something. And you can make that 6-0 recommendation to the commissioners or the city council. They can turn right around and go 5-0 the other way.
Right. Yeah.
Because they have the total ending authority. So, I mean, it's nice that people want to volunteer for these things, but, I was on the board of trustees at Alamance Community College. I was there a year. Once I saw they were doing things that were more geared toward earning FTE, which is money, than toward what was really best for the students, I just couldn't watch it anymore. Mm-hmm. I kept talking about it. I kept bringing it up. I kept proving it. And I finally just resigned because it was not about the student getting a job that would give them a career. And they took a 6-week program and turned it into a year program. And when they got out after a year, they had the same thing they would have had if they went to the 6-week program. But they earned a ton of FTE, which is what they funded by. Mm-hmm. So, you can be on boards, but if I'm on a board that I think that's, not doing the best service to the student, don't tell a 45-year-old woman that if you'll come down here and take nurse's aid, you couldn't get into the RN program. But if you'll come down here and take nurse's aid, which is a 6-week program, and then take all this other garbage gook, for a whole year, and a ton of these people were hiring babysitters, trying to work jobs and do this, and it was 300. And when the thing was over at the end of the year, there might be one that gets in the RN program. Mm-hmm. One.
All right.
And the rest of them went to work for what they could have did in 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of things out there, but. That's, Michael was on that board with the sheriff down there, when he had to catch a ride back to the car dealership. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't mean that in a mean way, but don't act like you've got to be some outstanding Republican or whatever to get on one of these boards. Because you can get on them. If you let the word know that you want on them, you can get on them.
All right. Appreciate it.
You know that, Eric.
Yeah. Thank you. Take care. 222-9224.
Take your choice.
I want to talk about something else. I don't want to talk about that.
All right. Let's talk about my big old yellow cat sitting here in the window hollering at me.
Why is the cat hollering at you? Give that cat something to eat.
You don't never have one of them do that to you, do you?
Oh, yeah. I have my outdoor kitty. I have one outdoor kitty who sits up in the window and looks at you while you're washing the dishes in the sink, asking to come out and hold her. She doesn't want to come in. She wants you to come outside and hold her. She likes to be held, like you're a big old yellow cat.
Oh, my big Siamese, back when I had a whole pack, back when I had 12, he was something. Big old 15-pound cat. And that's when I was having one of my bouts with severe bad health. And I was recuperating in that fall, sitting on my big old wood porch out behind the house. And he wouldn't come around to the front. He liked the back. There was lots of places to lay up high in the sunshine, or just good places to hide. Cats love places to hide. And
places where they can see you, but you can't see them. That's what they like.
Exactly. But I used to love him. I'd see him out there in the backyard, and he would get as low to the ground as any cat you ever seen. And it's like he was wiggling like a snake. And he'd be out there chasing a mouse or a snake. He was good with
last week, one of the great cat lovers in Alamance County came over here to the radio station, the District Attorney Sean Boone. He loves cats. When I get to see Sean, which is not very often, as the district attorney, he's always working, and he's working in a place where I don't want to be in the court system. So the thing is, he shows me his pictures, I show him mine. I have a one-eyed cat named Ziggy, and he has a one-eyed cat too. So we're always showing pictures. Well, he was here. We talk about a nice guy. He's just a down-to-earth guy, and we get to showing the cats, and you know how, because you are one, how cat people are. We just get to talking about the things that these cats do. Now, on the other day, I love cats. I love all animals. I'm not wildly fond of cows, but other than that, I've had some strange animals over the years that were pets, all sorts of stuff. But I love cats. We had at one time 27.
On the subject of cats, when we had a mobile home park, we had a gentleman who loved cats, him and his wife. And they had lots of cats everywhere. And this mobile home just happened to be not out in the trailer park, so they could have cats. Well, anyway, when they finally left, we had to clean that mobile home up. It was pure disgusting. They had put cat doo-doo in the drawers and nailed the doo-doo to the inside of the drawer. So you had to, get the nails out of the drawer so you could open the drawer. And when you opened it, it was full of cat shit. The bathtub was full of cat shit. It was disgusting. We ended up pulling the trailer off. It was just awful. Yeah, they love cats. Some people do, but if you're going to have cats, you need to be clean. I can't stand see people with cat hair all over their clothes, and it's just disgusting. All over the couch, all over the floor. Ugh, I can't stand it.
Likes to get a little mist on her. She likes that. When it's raining, she gets wet. She doesn't, and it's not that she wants to go hide under the carport, which she's perfectly capable of getting up under there. She likes to sit out on the gate to the patio, and under that canopy of that tree where she just gets a little mist on her. She likes that. 20 minutes now after 9 o'clock. Let me tell you about Deal Law. J. Ray Deal.
Huh? They didn't count at all, did they? Yeah,
Of course they did.
Yeah, okay, why didn't you talk about it then?
We've talked about it several times.
Oh, I'm talking about, now listen, don't try to run this over me. You ain't mentioned it.
I'm not running over anything.
Did you mention it this morning? Don't do that.
No, I did not mention it this morning.
Right, so don't do that. I'm talking about
that
this morning.
That doesn't mean I haven't mentioned that. Well, you didn't. Listen, don't scream at me. You didn't say that. You said hasn't been mentioned at all, and it has.
And burnt the church down.
Now, we talked about that too, yeah.
Yeah, I know you do. I didn't hear it. I've been on it all morning. Listen, let me tell you something. You talked about all these other things going on. Listen, look. These things happen to every one of them a white man. You see what I'm saying? But when these black folks over here
before you go to get to Hall River, had this shooting over here. It was talked about every morning. These here gangs and things. What was these people that done these murders and things? And talk about what Trump gonna do. What has he done? They're still going on. You understand what I'm saying? Look, all this murderers and killing is done by white people. See, I don't hate white people or nothing, but quit talking about what black people are doing. What all this is done by white people. Every bit of it. All your mass murderers and things. This guy that killed 57 people up in the motel with an automatic weapon was white. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, Zimmerman, where you're talking about Mexicans and going on, killed a black man, and you turn him loose and give him his gun back. And claimed that the black boy was 17 years old, had his weapon was the cement on the ground. Lord, God have mercy. How do you think you're going to get through God with this, what you're doing?
I'm not doing that.
You know what I'm saying? You think you, listen, laughing and going on and agreeing with the other and all. But listen, you can't run this by my God. And then, do you hear what I said? My God. Because I'm going to stick with him till the day I die.
Me too. Y'all can do all the harm y'all want to. Y'all can call me this and call me that. But I know the Lord sent me to do a mission. Y'all got in the way because you get stupid and dumb as hell. So now you got to pay the consequences from the Most High, not from me. This comes from the Lord.
Product on television that costs $14.95, and you put up under your eyes and get the wrinkles and things out from under your eyes. You understand what I'm saying? Old age done put it there. God put it there. You see what I'm saying? And it's not from the devil, it's from God. He put old age upon you, and you're going to be like it. These old women with hair tied on and going on and everything like that, and you're going along with it. You're selling poison in the stores and things, your liquor stores and things, but it's all right for you to do that. You see what I'm saying? You people. That's what I'm talking about. Wickedness is what you're doing. Listen, every time you turn the television on, every morning there's a mass murder, either 2 or 3 murders, or somebody in the family done shot their wife or done shot their husband. Or look at what happened here with now Mitch McIntyre was a lawyer here. He talked about Blanche, said she'd never be electrocuted and she'd never die, and she won't. You understand what I'm saying? And going on, she poisoned 2 of her husbands with banana pudding, and she's still living. But you want to hang the one or kill him or do anything to kill Kerr. See, your people are not right. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody that does wrong should be punished, but you don't do it. The United States of America, who I'm talking about, you're the people doing this. This is not in Asia or somewhere else. You're the people that's doing this.
Sure is. Y'all are the people that's doing it.
The street, 17 years old, with a M15 and killed 2 people, and got on television and cried. The little punk got on television and cried, and you turned him loose and tried to send him to college, and the people would not accept him in college. And you people worship this. You see what I'm talking about? And when this storm comes upon you and you're washing down the river and things and you're crying, you kumbaya.
Okay.
That's what you're doing. You're praying then and going on and crying when you're sitting on top of your house going down the Mississippi River.
All right. Appreciate it.
Now,
Thank
see
you.
what I'm saying?
Yes,
I
sir.
know you don't like what I'm saying, but God's got
I haven't said anything about what you're saying. I appreciate
I
it.
know.
The truth is the truth.
You have a good day.
But you won't get away.
Okay, thank you. 2229224. You know, I sometimes I wonder where all that comes from.
It comes from y'all being evil and y'all don't want the truth. But you know what? You're going to get the truth whether you want it or not. And when the Lord smack you in the face with the truth, what you going to do then?
They need to be put to, and he says, no, you don't say anything about it. Yes, they do. People say things about all this stuff. I don't care what color you are. I don't care. I could care less about the color of your skin or where you came from or anything. When you violate the law, I want you tried, and if you're convicted, I want you punished. Period. The end. Got nothing to do with anything else. I don't care about any of the other things that don't matter. What matters is, did you break the law? We caught you. Were you arrested? Were you tried fairly? Not unfairly, but tried fairly. And did a jury of your peers or a judge find you guilty? Then I want you punished. Period.
When it comes to a righteous person, they really want you punished. They want you put away in a hurry and your body gotten rid of, especially if you're an honest person. Now, if you're a crook and a liar, they'll keep you around forever. Notice I said they, meaning the people, the Most High. That's a different story. Man has got to be the dumbest animal that God created. He's supposed to be intelligent. But the ones around here, I don't know about other places, but the ones around here are the dumbest people I have ever could ever imagine. The people are that dumb. But they won't even look up the truth after you tell them the truth. They stay with the lie after you tell them the truth. And Europeans that mess black people up so bad, it's not even worth, it's disgusting. Ain't no word for it. The black people up in the church praising a vessel that brought them over here to slavery. Now that's what you call dumb.
They threw you away. Now they face endless regret. There comes a moment in life when people you trusted, people you gave your heart, your time, your loyalty to, will look at you and decide you are not worth keeping. They threw you away. Now they face endless regret. They'll throw you away like you were nothing, like all the love, sacrifice, and presence you gave meant absolutely zero. That moment cuts deep, doesn't it? It feels like betrayal wrapped in silence. But let me tell you something powerful. Being thrown away does not mean you lost value. It means they were blind to the treasure standing in front of them. And here's the truth. Time has a way of revealing what was real. Now the same people who thought they could replace you with ease are haunted by the void you left behind. They face the endless regret of knowing they let go of something they will never find again. You. Your rejection was your redirection. Life has a way of breaking us down and then building us back up in ways we never imagined. Sometimes the hardest moments we endure come not from strangers, but from the very people we once trusted with our hearts, our time, and our loyalty. The pain of being thrown away, cast aside like you don't matter, cuts deeper than most wounds. It leaves you questioning your worth, wondering if maybe, just maybe, they were right to let you go. But here's the truth you need to hold close. Your rejection was never the end of your story. It was the redirection that pushed you into the very destiny you were created for. When they walked away, it wasn't your value that diminished, it was their vision that failed. They couldn't see the greatness inside of you, the light you carried, the purpose written into your soul. You see, rejection feels like an ending, but in reality, it's the beginning of something greater. Sometimes the greatest blessing in disguise is being pushed out of places where you were never meant to stay. They thought they were discarding you, but life was positioning you. That closed door wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Think about it. How many times have you been held back because you were clinging to people who couldn't see your potential? How many nights did you sit in silence, doubting yourself because their words cut you down? They thought you were weak. They thought you were ordinary. They thought you were replaceable. But rejection is a strange teacher. It doesn't whisper, it shouts, it wakes you up. It forces you to rise from the ashes they buried you in. What they meant for your harm, God used for your growth. Your rejection was your redirection. because it stripped away the false comfort of being tolerated and pushed you toward the destiny of being celebrated. You see, people will sometimes throw you away simply because your presence threatens the weakness in their spirit. Your light exposes their shadows. Your strength reveals their insecurities. And rather than honor you, they push you aside. But don't mistake their blindness for truth. Don't confuse their rejection with your identity. The very act of them letting you go was the hand of life, steering you into better, bigger, and brighter. There's a story written in your pain. Maybe you gave someone your loyalty and they betrayed it. Maybe you offered your heart and they shattered it. Maybe you stood by their side when they were in their darkest moment, but when it was your turn to need them, they vanished. And in that moment, it felt like you were forgotten, discarded, erased. But let me tell you, life doesn't discard diamonds. People do. And just because someone was foolish enough to throw you away doesn't mean your shine is gone. Diamonds don't lose value when dropped in the dirt. They just wait for the right hands to recognize them. Your rejection was your redirection because it opened a path you would have never taken if you stayed where you were not valued. Think about the opportunities, the growth, the peace you now have because they let go. Would you have discovered your strength if they hadn't pushed you to stand alone? Would you have tapped into your potential if you stayed comfortable in the shadow of their doubt? Sometimes it takes being broken to discover the power inside of you. Sometimes it takes being thrown away to realize you were never meant to be caged by small-minded people in the first place.
Congress, both houses in the White House.
But they don't have 60 votes, which they have to have in the Senate.
Let me finish.
I'm just pointing that out, Michael. I'm not attacking you in any way.
Just let me talk like you let Jim talk, okay? If I don't call
No.
your name and accuse you of anything...
No, I do reserve the right to, I reserve the right to talk to Jim, just like I reserve the right to talk to you.
Yeah, but
you don't interrupt Jim.
To add to the conversation.
You were saying that they were...
Now, let me go on, thank you. According to the president, the current president, it is a things that make the situation look better. Now, all of a sudden, anybody can go look on the, well, you can't look on the DOJ website. That's who's done that study. They have always done studies. There's never been a problem with the Department of DOJ. They've always put that up there, but they moved it. All of a sudden, they took it down right after Kurt got assassinated because it didn't fit the narrative of the president. Now, that study also coincides with the independent research company, the Center of Strategic Data, which showed the exact same thing. So now we want to say that it makes the Republicans look bad, and it doesn't fit the narrative of what the people that call this show say, then we're going to say, well, it's funded by Antifa. Just like this old lady that called the show and said that the attack on Washington was by Antifa. And Mark, said, well, that's not true. But, that's what she wants to believe. When you have people that want to believe something, I'm going to say something Bill Huff said, since you gave the word that Bill Huff used. I'm going to give you something that Bill Huff said as well, and before I close. But so let me go and then back to Barry. Barry stated that I'm on the Housing Authority and we don't have anything to do. The Housing Authority Commissioner is the policy-making branch of that organization. Again, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And as far as me being on the Sheriff's Committee, I was on that committee because I failed that committee with every